Ashley has a neighbor who is studying with Jehovah's Witnesses and wants advice on how to talk to her. Ashley, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hi, Rudy and Lloyd. How are you?
Very well,
Awesome.
thank you.
Good. I'm a big fan of both of you. And I think I left a similar voicemail for you, Lloyd, before I knew you were going to be on this week. So disregard that. Don't know if I left my name. I'm so sorry about that.
He already started the
yeah,
video. Come on, Ashley. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. So to get to my question, I do have a neighbor and friend who I socialize with often, and she has revealed to me that she has been studying with the Jehovah's Witness Bible teacher. She seems pretty close with her, and it seems like more of an emotional draw, like the community and people to come over and visit a lot. So I've tried some light street epistemology with her, and she just seems kind of reluctant on the topic, which might. And she is aware I'm an atheist, which I didn't mean to let slip, and that could definitely hurt my cause. But overall, I just try to engage lightly, and it seems like a really sensitive topic for her. And I know her family and her husband are not supportive of it. So I'm really scared for her and what could happen depending on how far she goes down that path. I mean, she's still socializing with me, so she can't be that far, I suppose. But yeah. I'm just wondering your thoughts.
Yeah, if she still has worldly friends, she's not too far along yet.
That's a tricky one, isn't it? I guess what I tend to say is that, you know, there is no magic bullet when it comes to indoctrination. I mean, obviously, your neighbor is, it sounds like in the early stages. So we don't know to what extent your neighbor is indoctrinated or will be indoctrinated. So it's a little early, perhaps, to know for sure where this is going to go. All I will say is that Jehovah's Witness indoctrination, and Rudy knows all about this, is extremely potent. And it may seem incredibly far-fetched, you know, when you see the brochures with paradise filled with pandas and fruit tables, and this awaits everyone in the future. It seems far-fetched until you have invested time and emotion into it. And the more time, the more emotion, the more energy you invest into it, the more the sunk cost fallacy kicks in. And you think, well, I've come this far, I may as well see it through. If your neighbor is really serious about this and you are serious about helping your neighbor, I think it's just about keeping the lines of communication open. And even if you don't want to accept your own Bible study, you could always say to your neighbor, if you come across evidence that this is really the truth, I want to hear it. And then that's your kind of way for your neighbor to know that you're there and interested in hearing the arguments if your neighbor happens across anything that they consider to be persuasive. So they will then be looking at you as a potential convert as they get more and more indoctrinated. Now, it could end up that they don't end up getting more and more indoctrinated because they figure out for themselves that this is a load of nonsense. But at least if you're keeping those communication lines open, you're in a position where you can just introduce some critical thinking and introduce an outside perspective that could be helpful. But in the long run, this is an individual who's in control of their own lives. And if they decide to go ahead with this, unfortunately, there just isn't that much you can do apart from just be there as a friend.
My own take on this is, of course, everything that Lloyd said, absolutely. But something that always really affected me as an active witness was the persecution complex. It's very strong, and it's introduced to even studying Jehovah's Witnesses, because the witness who is teaching them the Bible will tell them that people will be opposed to them learning the truth. So if you come out guns blazing, they are not going to respond well, because it's just feeding into the narrative that they have been told about the world and how the world will react to them learning about and becoming a Jehovah's Witness. So I think making it clear that you don't have a problem with them, and you wouldn't like them any less if they were a Jehovah's Witness. Make that clear for sure, because that, you know, this sort of going against that narrative of the whole world being against you is part of what helped me to eventually get out. And just being able to see that, you know, this thing that they are telling you about, oh, everyone's going to hate you and everybody will be opposed, it doesn't hold up. That is something that can sort of help break down that narrative. So maybe approach this person from the perspective of, like Lloyd said, you know, if this is true, I want to know it too.
I want in on this, you know, if it's really true, you know.
But if you can deconstruct those arguments, because they are easy to deconstruct, then do so. But you are earnestly seeking the truth as they are. It just so happens that the witnesses don't have it.
Yeah, no, I love that point. I had been kind of comparing my love bombing to theirs, and knowing that there's, and not that that's what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to be a good friend and spend time and let her know that I am here, and I don't have any opinion of her, any negative opinion of her studying with this person. She talks about it to me, so I at least feel that maybe that line of communication is still open, but I definitely did not come from that position originally, which I definitely should. Please let me know what you're finding out, and be curious. I don't think I came with that correct. I probably came on too strong, and I mean, all I really said was I don't believe that, and I'm an atheist, but that sounds really strong to somebody who does have that persecution narrative given to them.
But it's hard.
And
it's hard
like
not
I'm
to
judging her in a way.
It's hard not to come out strong when you know that somebody you care about is being actively indoctrinated into a cult. You have to resist the urge to just like shake them and be like, "Oh my God, wake up! You cannot fall for this, please."
This is also the first person I've known who was a Jehovah's Witness or was studying with them, because I did not grow up in an area where they were very visible. So it's kind of a shock to me after watching content like on Lloyd's channel and things like that. And I'm like, oh, if I ever met a Jehovah's Witness, how would I approach? And I try to be rational about it. And then when it happens, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, that's a very understandable response. I actually had an ex-boyfriend in high school who became my ex because he tried to tell me that I was in a cult. He went on JW Facts when I started preaching to him, and he found out very quickly that I was sucked into something bad, and he tried to tell me so, and I basically told him to fuck off. Because, you know, you can't just tell somebody who's in a cult that they're in a cult and expect them to believe you. That's how cult mind control works. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you both for your
I hope
insight.
it works out.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, try and be a friend, and who knows, maybe you'll be able to help.
Yeah, and I would love it if you make some progress with your neighbor, that you would call us back and let us know how that went. I would be so interested in hearing. Or, of course, you can shoot us an email. Either way, I'd love to hear the follow-up.
Awesome, definitely. Thank you both. Take care.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hi, Ashley. Well, we started off strong.
That was a tricky one. Yeah, there's no easy answer really, but yeah, all I can think of is just be kind. You know, just being kind and not being too aggressive or confrontational. You know, you can go a long way with that, can't you?
Yeah, and that's not the first time I've been asked that question, and that's pretty much what it always comes down to for me too, is like, just let them know that the whole world is not against them, and that's already a pretty big step in the right direction.